Plaintiff Shirley Banta says the defendant is her daughter, and she was a good girl until she turned 14 and became infatuated with a boy. Shirley claims this boy turned her daughter onto drugs and alcohol, physically abused her, and even got her into trouble with the law. She's suing her daughter today for car payments and insurance. Defendant Christina Banta admits she got mixed up with the wrong crowd at the age of 14 and turned to sex, drugs, and alcohol. Christina says due to her destructive behavior, she's been in and out of jail, and she insists the reason she couldn't repay her mother was because she was unemployed.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Tell me what happened.
Christina's my daughter, and one of the hardest things to ever do is go up against your own child. Christina was a good girl up to the age of 14. And at 14, the easiest word I always call it, she went amok. She met a boy who kind of stole my daughter, got her into alcohol, drugs, got her smoking cigarettes,
How old
and
was
then
he?
sex. Same age. They were both 14. He really didn't have a lot of guidance himself. His mother died when he was 11. He lived with a guardian that I called the guardian from hell. He got her into stuff that we always told her no. We took her to church. We didn't send her. We took her. She knew right from wrong, but she got infatuated with this boy. I mean, we get police calls in the middle of the night that she was found on the side of the road drunk,
At what
out.
age?
15. She had just turned 15. It was on President's Day, and that was the first incident. My husband went to pick her up because I kept telling the police, no, that's not my daughter. My daughter's at home. She's asleep. She had snuck out of the house, met up with the boy, and another boy was found in their home, another boy's home. That mother, instead of being smart enough to call us, had the two boys walk her home, and they drug her by her arms, feet, whatever, and left her on the side of the road to basically sleep it off. When my husband got her home, my son had to pick her up because she was a bad drunk. She was cussing, screaming. My little girl wasn't a little girl anymore. We went to drug tests. My husband went up the street and found out you could buy drug tests to do at home. He went up the street, bought one for my son because my son was going nuts. And he picked up two. The one on my son proved nothing. And then my husband kept saying, did you test our daughter? I said, no, but I will. I got her up, got her ready for school, and I said, oh, by the way, Chrissy, Mommy needs you to go potty in a cup, and I need to test you. Stupid.
What reason did you give her?
Your dad bought two tests. Since he's testing your brother, he wants to test you too. She said, save your money. And I said, what? And she goes, save your money, it'll prove positive.
For what?
Drugs.
What type?
Marijuana, Oxycontin. I don't even know what else she was taking. I said, where are you getting this stuff? Because she didn't have a job. And she just said she had a girlfriend that got her, and pet name that I had for this boy was Jerkface. Jerkface got her into the drugs. He was a jerkface.
What year did you find Oxycontin in her?
She was 15. It was about 3 years ago. This has all been going on for 5 years.
What do you know of her status now?
Right now she's clean. But I've been court-ordered for her to live at my home at 19 and a half. She's been court-ordered to live with me by the judge. I stood there and heard a judge say she's court-ordered to live with us.
What was she convicted of?
Drugs. Fifth probation violation.
For what? What type of drugs?
I'm not even sure which one.
It was marijuana, sir. Basically the same thing she said. I will admit that I did get involved with drugs. I had a really good upbringing. My parents were always there. They were involved with me in everything that I did, 100% supportive. And I mean, I was big into cheerleading. My mom was always there for me. And like she said, when I met this boy, everything just went downhill, like automatically, like the domino effect. One thing after another. And like I said, when I was 14, I started smoking cigarettes. That led to sex. The sex led to alcohol. The alcohol led to marijuana. And then eventually I started getting into popping pills like Percocets and Oxycontin. And then I started snorting cocaine. And Yeah,
I always
my life
suspected
basically led
cocaine.
on from that.
Until now.
Eventually, this boy got extremely abusive with me. He would punch me. He would throw me into glass doors. One time he said that he didn't want to put his hands on me, so he laid me down on a bed and put his knees into my stomach and started punching me in the face with my own fists. I, being young and dumb, was just in love with him. And
What would you tell other parents and young ladies to do to avoid the type of destructive behavior you engaged in? What would you tell them? I don't know what to tell them. I don't know how to tell a girl, if you fall in love with a boy, here's how you resist it.
I would say that if you're with somebody and they don't make you better, no matter how much you love them, love isn't always enough. You need to stand strong for what you believe in, and instead of making excuses and saying, well, they might do this, but I know that before they were this great, you know, just let it go. You can't always hang on to everything.
Were you fascinated with the person because of something? Because you don't fall in love the first day. Were you fascinated with bad boys? You know, you have some girls like bad boys, and those girls end up being bad girls, and they end up on drugs, pregnant, before they're ready to be. Is that part of it?
I think a little part of it was because, yeah, I love my parents and they had always been there for me, but I think I was rebelling because I just felt like my whole life was planned out for me and this is what I was supposed to do, and I just felt like everything was just right by the book. Right.
Too structured and too strict.
Yeah, and I just wanted to break out and do my own thing and figure things out on my own. And honestly, I should have just listened to what they said because my life got harder and harder. I mean, I've been in and out of jail for domestic violence and smoking pot and drinking alcohol until the point, like 40 beers at a time I would drink.
40?
Yes.
That sounds impossible, but...
Your Honor, I would like to enter these. These are two pictures of her, what he did
Now, we're
abusively
talking
to
about
her.
car payments, but certainly this is a very compelling testimony, and I think a lot of the viewers want to know. And what is this mark from?
Him. He beat her. And she, when the police showed up, she told him he didn't touch her.
I got the point about what went on with her. Do you have any information or advice you would tell parents to
Don't trust your kids. Test them. Go to the store, buy the $22, $25 test kits. They're in all the little Walmarts, the grocery stores.
But is it fair to test children when they've shown no signs of anything?
She
I
didn't
don't
show
think
any
that's
signs.
fair.
She showed no signs, none. She was my good girl. She was
I
my
don't know,
good
man.
girl.
It sounds like it would hurt the child in some way because the child would say, I've done all I can, I've been a perfect this and a perfect that, and my mother doesn't trust me. She thinks I'm on drugs.
If you knew everything I've been through in the last 5 years, I mean, we're talking, like I said, the police call and I'm sitting there going, oh no, my daughter's asleep.
Yeah.
And my husband's jumping out of bed.
Maybe when you saw some signs, I would say that's the case. So I don't know. You can tell parents that, but
you go and you get the test and you just say, well, we're testing just to test. Mom and Dad will do a test even. I even told her, I said, I'll do a test.
That doesn't sound right, does it? That doesn't sound like that's
I think
fair.
that you should just be very involved with your children. I think that you just need to...
Observant.
Yeah, like a lot of parents these days, they just think, you know, kids can figure it out on their own or the schools will tell them not to do it. I think that parents just need to be more involved with their children. And I'm not blaming this on my parents. I am taking full responsibility for the choices that I made. But as far as being able to tell what they're doing, just be involved and talk to them about it. Don't be afraid to ask them if they know about the drugs and sex and stuff.
I can hear you saying that for other parents, but your parent did that. You already said she did.
I got blamed for her getting pregnant.
Ma'am, I know she already...
No, she told me I got her pregnant.
All right, yeah.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You said that I got you pregnant because I prayed and I asked God to get you off of everything except to kill you. I said, do not kill my daughter, but get her back to being herself. And the next thing I knew, you were pregnant. You said, Mom, it's because you prayed and asked God to help me and get me off drugs.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You did too.
Did that get her off?
Yes, it did.
Well, then you did pray for it. You did get her pregnant.
But I didn't
I'm with you. She got you pregnant, but it helped.
Physically, I didn't get her pregnant. It's impossible.
Let's get to the car payments. Tell me what happened in this instance where she owes you $5,000 for car payments.
Okay, what had happened was when I have two kids. We bought both of our kids a car when they were 16, a used car. My son got a used truck. She got a Saturn. Jerk face, he started beating her. kicking my front window out, kicking the side window, pulling the emergency brake, spinning the car. She was an inexperienced driver. The next day, when we find all this damage out, we had him arrested, and the car was totaled. She had to drive a 1995 Ford van to get back and forth to work. It's a conversion van. My friend
You know
called,
why I ask?
Okay, this is where she got the other car.
But I want to stop you. You know why I ask you all to tell folks or give parents and young people advice, and that I had nothing I could tell you today. I usually am full of advice. I get a little preachy sometimes, but I have absolutely nothing I could advise you on, because the only thing I would have done, only thing, is pull that little jerk face aside and tell him if he ever showed up again, that would be the last time. And I wouldn't even do it in front of my daughter. In fact, I'd pull him to the side if I was the dad and say, if you ever show up again, you're going to have a major problem. And I said, and if you tell my daughter, I'm telling you this, you're going to have a major problem. So you need to just disappear. If you ever run into her again and she says, what happened? Just make up an excuse, but I better not see you around ever. Ever. And if he jumped on her, I would be signing up to go to jail. I'm sorry, just certain things I don't know how to handle. And that's one of them.
The biggest problem I can see that I did with Chrissy is I gave her too much.
The second car, you bought her a second car.
Well, what had happened, she was driving the conversion van, and she kept bumping into things and saying it was too big. She had a decent job. It wasn't making a lot of money, and my husband had just bought me a new car, and she said, I want your car. And I said, you're not driving my 08. I said, but I can call my dealer, and if I find a reasonable deal, will you make the payments?
She didn't say that.
Yes, I did.
No.
And she said, yeah, I'll make the payments. 208 Reno, $13,000, brand new. And she goes, well, I don't like the color.
Let me hear from you.
First of all, when she offered to get me another car, I was under the impression she was going to take me to a used car dealership and get me something. I even told her, I don't want you spending a lot of money on it. It's not your responsibility to get me a car.
But no, let's back up to the first car.
Well, it was St. Patrick's Day, and he had been drinking, and he told me that he was allowed to spend the night. Well, we find out that he's not, and his guardian calls, so I go to take him home. And I was driving home. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm going down 65-mile-per-hour road, and he just grabs my e-brake out of nowhere, starts cussing at me, slaps me across my face so hard that my contact falls out of my eye. So I stop and I start crying at this point. And he says, I didn't tell you to stop, calls me a bad name, then kicks my entire windshield out of my car. And he said, take me home, take me home, take me home or I'll kill you, take me home or I'll kill you.
Oh, okay.
So I had no choice. I was scared. I'm obviously not stronger than him. So I get back on the road and I start driving him home. We get back to his house. I'm like, just get out of my car, just go inside. And I obviously shouldn't have opened my mouth, but when he called me stupid, I said, well, who's stupid? I'm the one with the diploma. What do you got? So he takes my car key out of the ignition and cuts my face from here to there. So blood starts gushing everywhere. So I'm holding my face. He grabs the keys, throws them into the woods. And it's pitch black. I don't know where they are. And grabs me by my hair, takes me out the car, throws me on the ground and starts kneeing me in the stomach till I'm puking. I couldn't breathe. I was gasping for air. Finally, I kick him and I run away. And I just basically hide for half an hour, thinking he probably went back inside. I need to get back to my car. I need to find my keys. Well, I go back and he's sitting on the ground. And he looks at me, sees the blood, and he's like, what happened to you? He didn't recall anything that happened. So, you know, he gets my keys back and I go home. I go downstairs and go to sleep and I don't say anything to my parents. They wake up for church, they notice the car, they wake me up, they find out, and then we went and pressed charges.
Okay.
So.
Tell me about the second car.
Well, I was driving the van, like she said. I just didn't like it. I mean, it was old school. Why would I want an old school big van? Like, you know, like I didn't want that.
You couldn't do any better for yourself?
Well, like she said, I was spoiled, so I wanted more, right?
Did you agree to make the payments?
If I did, she said that I signed a promissory note, and I don't remember doing it, sir, honestly.
Do you remember whether you agreed to pay, though?
Huh?
Do you remember agreeing to pay?
Yes.
Well, we don't need a note, but since she's...
Oh, I've got one.
Let's see it.
I did not have a job at the time, sir.
Yes, she did. She worked for a fast food restaurant as a shift manager.
Ma'am, one of the things I'm hearing is that You gave her love with no toughness. You should have given her more time to prove herself. $5,000 is your judgment. She has no legal defense to not paying you your money. Young lady, what you doing with yourself now?
I'm involved in rehab. I've been clean. I'm staying clean.
How long have you been clean?
I've been clean for like 2 months now.
It's been a month.
So, but prior to that, I was clean for like 6 months. I'm planning on going back to school, and I want to get my psychology degree and social work degree and basically be a rehab counselor like mine.
Good.
She's doing a lot better since she's been back home.
Judgment for the plaintiff.
See, I really love you, but I can't stand you back with him again, and I can't stand no more drugs.
I love you too, and I'm definitely not going to get involved with anything that I was involved with before.
I love you.